morning, everyone. It's your boy, Dave P. No fancy music because it doesn't seem to work out for us anyway. Coming to you live from a snowy, undisclosed location in Central Ohio with my main man, RJ Pepino. RJ, how's the vibe?
It's good. It's a little cold today. Lucky to be inside.
Did you get some sleep last night?
Yeah, I did. Thank God for the snoo, for those
snoo.
First-time parents out there.
Many people know, some don't. RJ has a new baby, and he is building up his sleep habits to where they used to be. And of course, it wouldn't be coffee with the cream and the brewer without the brewer himself, Mr. Eric Brewer. Eric, do you guys have snow out there in PA today?
Not yet. We got like a tiny little bit on the ground from yesterday. We got a little flurry yesterday. Look here, this is my view right here. Check this out. So this is my ride to the gym in the morning. This is like at the top of my neighborhood.
That sky, as gray as it is, reminds us very much of where we are at here in Ohio.
Yeah.
And we're anticipating a rough winter, but you know what? It's hard to keep a good man down. And if it's your first time tuning in, Coffee with the Cream, which is cash flow, real estate, and money, RJ and I's brand, and the brewer, Mr. Eric Brewer, is a mission to keep Eric Brewer online. He got put in Facebook jail, and we just can't have that happen. And today we are talking about why people leave good jobs. So the first bullet point that you threw out there, Eric, was anonymity. Tell me more about the anonymity aspect of this. You're on mute, brother. You're on mute. Somehow you went on mute. Yep.
All right, there we go. First reason is you mute people. And when you mute them and they can't talk, they leave your job, right? So I just muted myself. I'm going to quit. So, right. So when someone's anonymous, it's like, what does that mean? And I remember, so I grew up in the car business. That's how I cut my teeth in business. And I remember I worked my way up from the entry-level position to mid-level management to general sales manager, which is at a car dealerships, like, third in command. And I remember back then, the owner and the general manager telling me, hey, like, you can't hang out or you can't have personal relationships with these people, right? Like, you need to be able they need to be able to know the difference between a friend and someone that they work for. So in the back of my mind, as I was growing up, I always had this, kind of rough edge to me when it came to people that worked for me. I didn't want to know too much about their personal life, because it might make it hard if I had to discipline them or fire them. And come to find out, at least based on my most recent, 5 or 6 years of experience, that is one of the main reasons why people leave. They're anonymous. We allow them sometimes in bigger organizations to just do their job. We only communicate with them when it's business related, when there's a problem, or they, miraculously do something that deserves a big celebration. And so I thought about that, and well, how do you make people less anonymous? So for me, one of the things I do is every day I walk our building. I walk our building. I talk to our people. I ask, questions about their personal life. Like, how was your simple stuff, right? Like the same way that we would treat a friend. How was your weekend? How's the family? How you feeling? You got any plans? Where are you going this summer vacation? And they become less anonymous. And then the other thing I do is we have some people that work virtual, a few that work in the Philippines, and then we have a few people that are stateside that they work from home, right? So they're United States residents, but they work from home. So I have 6 daily disciplines that I've written on my board. And one of the things I do each day is I call somebody in my phone to just say hello. Most of the time, there's people I have a professional relationship with or a personal relationship. And it's amazing what it's done for our culture. People just don't feel anonymous. Like, they don't want to just be a number.
Not to cut you off, your 6 daily disciplines, that's interesting. Do you call one person within your organization every day just to say hello?
Anybody. So I can only, after I walk the building,
Yeah.
5, 6 days a week. I can't. Hey, Eric, I just saw you like 20 minutes ago. Why are you calling me? So I literally alphabetically go through my phone. So yesterday I called. I called a guy that runs a gym locally, and of course in Pennsylvania they shut down gyms 2 days ago again. And I just called him. I knew he was a gym owner, and I didn't get his. He didn't answer, but I left a voicemail. And I basically said, "Hey man, like I'm sure it's a pretty tough time for you. I was just calling to check in. I haven't seen you in a while. I wanted to make sure everything was okay." He called me back a couple hours later and was just, so thankful and appreciative that someone would just call him to because I was thinking about him for no real reason. I didn't need anything or want anything. A lot of times when our phones ring, it's because we need something or they need something. And that's what you give to your people when you're intentional about them not being anonymous. Just call people and say, hey, with no real agenda.
Just letting people know that they are seen, right? And they do matter. RJ, what feedback do you have on the first bullet point, which is anonymity within the workplace and helping people feel less anonymous?
Yeah, I think more so now it's like very relevant because we're all virtual in our company versus Eric, you still have a physical office, right?
Yeah.
And so with virtual assistants being so far away, and I think it's great that you do that. And just so if you're new to this show, just so you guys know, Eric is out of Pennsylvania. He runs a high level real estate investing company, does north of 350 deals a year. So we're very grateful to have you on this Zoom this morning to share some of the insights that you have and how you've built this. And we see it in our business where, a lot of times we do our daily huddles, which we have our huddle here in about half an hour, but then after that, we kind of disperse throughout our day and we're all virtual. So it seems like you're alone. And so, Dave and I always talk throughout the day, and then there's chatter going on in our platform for our team to discuss things that are going on. But that phone call, I think, is huge, and I'm writing it down just from from your leadership. It means a lot because as you are going throughout your day and you run through a lot of challenges, it feels like you're alone, and you have no one to kind of go to. And I think this is great, and I think this is something that we can kind of all implement here, because that one phone call can mean a lot to a virtual assistant, someone in leadership that's really going through something and they need someone to talk to, and it shows that you care. And a lot of our businesses now that are virtual, it's something that we should probably adopt, because it's how else are you going to connect with your people anymore?
Yeah.
There's really no more small talk as much if you're a virtual company.
So that's one of the things I love about level 10s though, right? You guys run EOS.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a little touch of that in your level 10s, right? When people get to share good news. If you run EOS and you stay committed to the level 10 agenda, you eliminate at least a little bit of the risk of people feeling anonymous because they get to share a piece of personal good news once a week in that level 10. So that was one of the things that came out of EOS for me. I was like, well, why do we share good news, right? And one of the answers was it starts the mood of the meeting. And the second was I found, like, people would say, well, I got to see my son this weekend. And I'm like, I didn't know he had a son. And then next thing you know, you have a conversation with them. Turns out they've got some type of unique, family situation that he may be struggling with, a separation, or isn't able to see his children because of a divorce. Man, it's crazy the stuff that you can find. And we don't want to become counselors, but I mean, literally sometimes people don't have anybody to talk to other than the people at work. I would highly encourage you, like if you guys are running EOS, you're getting a little bit of it now. Every department, every person in our company participates in a level 10. And then on a smaller scale, what you can do, if you don't have independent department heads, is just schedule 15-minute one-on-ones with everybody in the company each week. And you run like an accelerated level 10 with them, right? Give me some good news. What's going on? What's not working? What's something you've learned in the last week? And that's a good way to have a structured way to touch base with your people at least once a week.
At the end of the day, so the first bullet point that Eric shared was, we're talking today about why people leave good jobs. First bullet point being anonymity. At the end of the day, we all want to be seen. We want to know that we matter. And the thing that brings us all together as people is we all want to be loved. I mean, I don't care how hardened you are. You could be the most hardened criminal ever. And we all, at the end of the day, want to know that we're loved. The second bullet point here I'm excited to hear about is why people leave good jobs. Irrelevance. Eric, tell us more about irrelevance.
So, like particularly at entry level or mid-level positions, people perform jobs that they don't understand how it connects to the overall vision or success of the company. So quickly, like two ways, like we have a mantra in our business, again, that comes from EOS, is everybody has a number, right? Like every day, everybody has a number, not like, hey, you're employee number 16. If it's cold calling, right? Like a cold caller, your number would be, you need to make, 300 phone calls a day, 300 phone calls a day, 30 connections, 2 appointments. And the reason I've always found that to be important, and then explain to them how that impacts the success of the company. Those 3 appointments, we typically confirm 2 of them. We close 25% of those. So for every 10 appointments you schedule, which is 1 week, we're going to buy a house. Every house that we buy, we make $20,000 profit. Every time we make profit, we give 10% of that back to local charities. So now when they're dialing a phone, it's not to get an appointment, it's to get 10 appointments to buy a house, to make 20,000 so that we can contribute 2,000 to less fortunate people in our community that can't eat or have shelter on a daily basis.
Yep, I like that. Everyone has a number, but your number matters. It's not just about making the extra dollar. It's about why you are doing this, the why behind it. RJ, what feedback do you have on bullet point number 2, which is irrelevance?
Yeah, I really like that. And it gives them something that is bigger than money to strive for. And you're making a community into your impact into the community. Eric, is that one of your core values? I would assume.
Yeah, so it shows up. Our core values are it's PIER, peer, and then the P is for perspective and belief. Something that's a core value to me is just having a positive attitude. Integrity is our second core value. Excellence, we have a commitment to excellence and constant improvement. And then R is respect. So it doesn't show up in our core values. I don't know if you guys have been through that exercise. It was like number 6 to me. And I think a lot of times our charitable donations is more about perspective and belief, like always having a positive attitude and doing the right thing. Integrity, to me, it's a blend of those 2 things.
So if you're just tuning in, it's Coffee with the Cream. That's RJ and I, cash flow, real estate, and money. And the brewer, Mr. Eric Brewer, where we talk about life, real estate, money, personal development. Today, we're talking about why people leave good jobs. First bullet point, anonymity. People want to be seen. If they don't feel seen, they tend to leave a good job. Number 2 is relevance or irrelevance. They need to know that their job and the daily actions they're taking actually matter on a higher purpose than just, punching the clock and keeping the cash register ringing. So that brings us to bullet point number 3, our final bullet point, which is measurement. Eric, share more about bullet point number 3, measurement.
So this is accountability, and it also goes back to number 2, right, where everybody has a number. And this is super, super simple to me. I'll give you 2 quotes. One quote is, accountability is not something you do to people. It's something you do for people, right? So a lot of times people perceive accountability as negative. It is not negative. Accountability is a great mechanism for you to be able to encourage people, coach them, and reward them for their successes. So the reason we all talk about KPIs, measurements, right? And we talked about number 2, why everybody has to have a number. The reason I love this is that when you measure and you assign a number to someone's daily behaviors, it gives you the opportunity to congratulate them for just doing their job. In the absence of having measurements in place, when do we regularly congratulate people? We don't, right? It goes back to being anonymous. It goes back to not knowing the relevance of what they do. When you have KPIs and measurements in place and you see someone on a daily basis or an hourly basis, we measure some of our lead management and cold calling hourly, right? So what that does is when I see someone that's, they're only supposed to get 3 appointments a day, right? It's not that big of a deal. They didn't get 10, but they hit 3. We congratulate people every single time. But I wouldn't have the opportunity for someone to congratulate them for doing their job if I didn't measure how they did their job. So too often, I think as businesses, we wait for people to hit these major milestones or their annual reviews, or they, doubled their goal for the month in acquisitions or sales. And that's when we congratulate them. How about just congratulating somebody for just doing the bare minimum of the expectations? Because if everybody in every organization did the minimum of what was expected of them, how good would we be? Pretty good.
Excellent job on this today. I love how they all tie together. The measurements, you can celebrate the small wins, which equal the big wins, and then why the big wins matter, getting back into the relevance. And then, of course, congratulating people and letting them know that they are seen. In our organization, we talk about you got to celebrate the first downs before you celebrate a touchdown.
Yes.
Move the ball up the field. RJ, what's coming up for you with the final bullet point, measurement?
Yeah, so I think when you have a number to strive for, we're all competitive, and everybody in an organization that we bring in, if they're not assigned something, a top performer is going to leave if they don't have a number to reach, because they're going to feel like they're not contributing, just like how you and I, if we feel like we're not contributing, we got to go, it's like, we got to do something else. And so I love how you pointed that out, because just like any great team, if you have an assigned thing, like so in football, the center needs to snap the football to the quarterback, right? And he's got his objective, and everybody has their objectives. And when we're in unison, and we're running like a well-oiled machine, and we know that we're going to stay in our lane. We have our number to hit. If I'm doing my job correctly, everybody else is doing their job correctly too, and we can go down and score.
Yeah, man.
It's Coffee with the Cream and the Brewer. Eric, bring us home so we can head into this snowy day here in Ohio. The snow is on its way to you over there in PA. But bring us home, Eric.
Yeah, I think the key about that title of this morning is we're talking about why people leave jobs they love.
Yes.
Right? So they're not doing something that they dislike. They didn't, quickly take a job just to have income. This is actually a job and a career that they like, but they don't like who they work for. So we talk a lot about leadership and how to develop people and all of that good stuff. At the end of the day, people can love their job and still leave if you're not aware of these 3 core principles and don't spend some type of considerable action contributing to these 3 areas, and you'll end up losing really, really good people.
Well, today's a great day because I'm actually getting a ton. I love when we do these calls with Eric Brewer. And if you want to follow Eric, what is it? The Brewer Method is what you've come up with online.
So Brewer Methods, the Brewer Methods, basically, you've heard me talk probably 1,000 times about novations, about how people that are in real estate, particularly wholesalers, in today's competitive environment, it's really, really tough to find deals. The Brewer Method is a method that I developed about 10 years ago that gives you the ability to wholesale retail properties. So when you have properties where you're making a wholesale offer and you're $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 away, it's a way for you to be able to make those deals and still pump out $20,000-$30,000 worth of profits without ever taking title, without ever paying for the property, without, having to go through FHA seasoning. And then you can just follow me on Facebook. I do, normally when I'm not banned from Facebook, I do at least 1 or 2 Facebook Live videos, much like this, where I just share different things that I'm learning on a day-to-day basis about business, life, parenting, construction, property management, rentals, whatever it is, right? Our plates are typically pretty full in real estate. It's a very diverse, industry and has its, unique set of challenges. So I'm just always sharing that stuff. It's a great way for me to learn and hold myself accountable. And then after I did it for a while, I found out that people actually kind of liked it. So I had to continue to do it.
Well, we're happy to be able to contribute to keep you online, and it's been great so far for us. This is episode number 3. I always walk away with a ton of notes, and leave it in the comments below if you can relate to the 3 bullet points discussed today on why people leave good jobs. They want to be seen. They want to know the relevance of the actions that they're taking or the why. Of course, they want benchmarks. They want to be measured so they know that they are doing a good job. It's your boy Dave P with RJ Pepino and the main man Eric Brewer. Join us tomorrow at 8:10 a.m. where we're going to be getting into all sorts of new good stuff. Stay warm out there, everybody, and we'll see you on the next video.